Hey there, everyone. It is Shelly Levi here, and I want to thank you for jumping on live tonight, or if you're catching the replay, again, thank you for joining me. Tonight, I am going to talk about how you can prioritize some of the things in your life so you can get the most out of your day and maximize kind of what you're wanting out of your week. And it's something that I've learned and had to develop myself over the years because I'm a busy mom. I have a demanding career, and I'm a business owner. And I'm still trying to figure out, how to fit, my fitness, my workouts, everything in. It's really crazy to try and do that. So I want to be able to share with you some of the things that I've learned over the years that I've needed to implement myself in order for me to not feel like I am some crazy woman running around with my head cut off. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you, first of all, some of the things that you are going to want to do to first prioritize. And there's 5 areas that I'm going to tap into that I've prioritized. Like I have literally written down, these are my priorities. And the first one I'm going to share with you is I prioritize me. That's the first thing on my list. I prioritize me. When I talk about me, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about my workouts, my physical fitness, strength, well-being. The next thing I prioritize with me is my nutrition. I suffer from 4 autoimmune diseases. And if I am not taking care of my nutrition and taking care of the things that are going in my body, those diseases go crazy off whack. And they make me sick. They bedridden me. It's not fun. It can be very debilitating. So I have to be very, very conscious of the food that I'm putting in my body and making sure that I am going grocery shopping and prepping things so I am set up for a good week. The other thing that I do is I take care of me and the mindset. So I'm making sure that I have things in place for personal development, whether that's books that I'm reading, videos that I'm watching, podcasts that I'm listening to. Maybe it's even attending events that I know are going to help on personal development. So those are the things that just in that area that cover one of my priorities, me. The number 2 priority that I have is family. That's family. So when I look at this category, this is the things that I'm covering here is my spouse. It could be your spouse, your partner. It would be things like date nights or weekend getaways. One of the things that failed in my first marriage, we never took time with each other. Never. We never went out on a date night. We never took a vacation together. No freaking wonder our marriage failed. One of the reasons, but so I make that a priority now. The other thing is my kids. I'm a mom and a stepmom. So my kids and my stepkids are a priority. And how, when I'm looking at this area, yes, Nick, very important. When I'm looking at this area with kids, there's things that you need to do to be involved with them. So it might be attending some of the kids' events. It could be doing things together as a family, maybe going biking, maybe going swimming, maybe going hiking together. Those are things we love to do down here. Watch movies, play games. Those are all things you can do as a family, doing it together as a family. The other thing that comes into this category too is your parents, and maybe you've got some siblings, that you're trying to stay connected with. For me, that means flying back to Minnesota. That involves traveling, so I can go back and visit my sisters, and same with Steve, so he can visit his family as well. That might involve traveling back. We might have some weather coming in here. I may have to move this inside here or here. We'll see what happens here. The next 3rd category I prioritize on my list, and remember I got 5 of them. The 3rd one is my career. I have been a fitness professional for 21 years now, and for me that involves being an instructor and a personal trainer. So that's going to take, that's teaching, trainings, attending conferences, continuing ed classes that I might need to take to keep my certifications active. And I'm also a business entrepreneur. I have my own business, happens to be in the wine business now. So again, with that, being an entrepreneur isn't just something that you just do. You know, there's a learning curve to it. There's trainings involved. You need to learn about business and marketing and branding yourself, promoting yourself, connecting with people. You know, there's a lot that goes into that. Number four that I do, that I prioritize, is my friends. My friends. You know, I want to make sure, and I'm going to move around the corner here because I'm a little nervous about what this is going to do over here. We've been known to get, let's see here, we get in color. We've been known to get some sandstorms coming in, and it looks like we're going to be getting one here. So, friends, what I want to do as when I prioritize friends is, one thing I learned when I was back in Minnesota is, I think I felt like I expected people to come to me, to call me, you know, and reach out to me, you know, when doing things. And I learned from that if you're going to be a true friend, it's a 50-50. You know, I got to be the one reaching out, making those phone calls, you know, connecting with people, setting up those lunch dates or dinners, you know, or maybe going to little gatherings. You know, those are things, if I want to build those deep relationships and have those really great friends that I can go to, I have to put some time into it. And so that is a priority on my list since I've moved to Arizona. I want to meet and find some really good friends that I can do that kind of stuff with. And the last priority on my list is number 5 is faith. And this one probably doesn't get as much of my attention as it should, but I'm trying to get better at this. So one of the things that I do in this category is I have a gratitude journal. And every morning I start my day filling out that gratitude journal. Because I know if I can start my day with gratitude, it's going to make a lot of things seem a lot better that may come across that might not be going so well if I can start with gratitude. So what I need to do then is with those priorities, those 5 priorities now that I have in line, and which is 1, me, 2, family, 3, career, 4, friends, and 5, faith. So now what I do is I go through those categories and I figure, how many hats do I wear? How many hats do I wear? And when I'm talking about how many hats do I wear or you wear, it's all the things that you're involved in. All the things that you're involved in. Because you know what? A person can only effectively wear 5 to 6 hats and be successful with those 5 to 6 things. If you're wearing more than 5 to 6 hats, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to be successful and be able to organize your day to get the most out of it. Because it's just going to be too much on your plate and you cannot get it in. So hence why you first need to prioritize what are the areas that are the most important to you first, order 1 through 5, and then figure out the hats you wear. So these are the hats that I wear, my 5 to 6 hats. Pick 5 to 6. My first one, again, taking care of me. And I cannot stress this enough. If you're not taking care of yourself, how are you going to be a good mom? How are you going to be a good wife? How are you going to be good at your job? You know, how are you going to be a good colleague? How are you going to be able to just do anything if you aren't taking care of yourself? So to me, yes, taking care of myself is number 1. That's number 1 of the things. My second hat is I'm a wife. I'm a wife. My third is I'm a mom, stepmom. 4th hat that I wear, I wrote some of this down, I'm a housekeeper. Yes, write that down. If you're the person who's taking care of the house, I clean, I cook, I do the laundry, I get the groceries, I meal prep for the week. You know, all that stuff takes time. It requires a hat. If you're running errands, if you're doing all those things, that is one of your hats, and you need to consider that when you're prioritizing out your day. The fifth thing that I am is, again, I'm a fitness instructor, trainer / trainer. It's a part of my career. And the last thing that I am is I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. So it's almost like there's two things that are tapped into my career area because I wear a couple hats there. Now, some of you might have other things on your list. You might be on a board of directors for some sort of organization, or maybe you head up the PTA. Maybe you're involved with the PTA. Maybe you're involved with one of the committees with your child's sports team. You know, these are all things you need to consider. And if you've got more than 5 to 6 hats on your list, guess what? You need to start cutting. I had to do that too. The things I had to cut, I loved coaching volleyball. Loved it. But you know what? There was too many things on my plate and too many things when I moved down there, and it just was not feasible for me to continue to be a coach. The other thing I did too is I was also a volleyball player. Played on 2 teams when I was back in Minnesota. I played co-ed and a women's team. That took out 2 nights out of my week, pretty much year round. So think about that, 2 nights out of my week just to play volleyball. And while I love it, it took up a lot of my time. So when it came down to some of the other things that I was trying to do, I had to keep that in mind, and it was one of the things that had to go. Now, this doesn't say that I can never play again, but while right now it's just not a priority of mine, and I have to keep my plate cleared so I can be able to deliver the rest in my, I only have so many hours in a day. All right, so now you've got your 5 priority areas, and you got the 5 to 6 hats that you wear. All right. Now what you do is you grab a calendar. And the one I've got is broken down by the 15 minutes. All right. It's broken down by 15 minutes. And what I do is I take that in. I think I found it at Walmart. But I take it in, and I start off first by scheduling in and blocking off the time that I am required to be somewhere. So this is going to be where you are having to punch a time clock. Obviously, you got to block that off. Anything that you are required or events that you're required to be at. Block those things off first. All right. Then after that, that's when you go back to your priority list and you start filling in the rest of your day. Now, I have myself as my priority. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be figuring out from what classes I'm teaching, what days do I have left that I want to get a workout in. I block that off. I literally write it in my calendar. I make sure that I'm blocking off time to go get groceries, so because I have to have the food that I need to for my nutrition, to keep me in check on my health. And then I'm also making sure I'm blocking off time that I'm listening to personal development or reading something. Usually my commutes. I don't listen to the radio anymore. That's where I listen to a lot of my podcasts. So that's where I save some time there. So I go back in and I start filling in on those hours. And guess what? It may require for some of you, if you are needing to get a workout in yet, it might require you getting up an hour earlier. It might require that. And guess what? It'll take about a week for you to get used to it. But then after that, it's going to be no problem. You're going to get used to it. And because it's a priority of yours, and when it becomes a priority, you are willing to make the sacrifices to get it done. You're willing to make those sacrifices to get it done. I think the wind might be gone now. So yeah, that's how I start to do it. I start to block off that time. I get up about 5:30 in the morning. I have a little morning routine that I go through that kind of sets the tone for my day. And then I go in and I schedule in, kids' events. I block off time in the evenings that I know I'm making my business hours. When it hits this time, I'm done. Because now it's family time. We try to do a couple days a month, to block off that date night. We try to look on our schedule usually ahead of time. Can we do a little weekend getaway? Next weekend, we got some friends coming into town to stay with us. There is my friend priority right there. I'm getting in some quality friend time next weekend. You know, so it starts first though, before you can even start to plan your day, you need to figure out where your priorities lie, and are you wearing too many hats? And if you're not wearing too many hats, it's going to be easy to write down on that schedule how you can get it all in and feel like at the end of the week, like you've really accomplished some things and your areas feel balanced. All right. So I hope this gave you a good idea on how to kind of put together some things. And if you're wanting some more detailed, like exactly how I break down my day, like by the 15 minutes or hour, message me and I can share some of those tips with you. All right. Thanks for like staying tuned in and bearing with me through some of this little wind and weather and basically somewhat of a little dust storm that kind of rolled through in here. So if you, like I said, if you have any more questions, please throw your comments below and I can shoot you some more tips and things that have helped me to really kind of better schedule out my day. All right. You guys have a great night and thank you again. Bye-bye.